Volkswagen is a name synonymous with innovation, engineering precision, and quality. For decades, this iconic German automaker has been a symbol of excellence in the world of automobiles. From the beloved Beetle to the powerful Golf GTI, the brand built a reputation for producing some of the most reliable and iconic cars on the market. However, beneath this polished surface lurked a dark secret that would not only tarnish its reputation, but also expose the lengths to which the company would go to deceive the world. In 2015, the world was rocked by what is now known as the Dieselgate scandal, an event that forever changed the automotive industry and the way we view corporate responsibility. It turned out he had been cheating on emissions tests for years. But the story doesn't end there. The Volkswagen scandal isn't just about a company caught red-handed in a massive deception. It's about the web of lies, manipulation, and consequences that followed. In this video, we're diving deep into the evil crimes of Volkswagen, exposing how the company manipulated millions of people, endangered the environment, and caused damage that has yet to be fully repaired. From the origins of the scandal to its global impact, this is a story that highlights corporate greed, a lack of accountability, and the extent to which a major corporation can go to protect its bottom line. The birth of a scandal, Volkswagen and its diesel engine promise. In the early 2000s, diesel-powered vehicles were gaining traction in Europe. These cars offered impressive fuel efficiency and lowered CO2 emissions compared to their gasoline counterparts, making them a popular choice for environmentally conscious drivers. Volkswagen, eager to seize on this growing trend, promised to revolutionize the market with a new generation of diesel engines that would combine low emissions with high performance. The company's marketing campaign was relentless, touting its diesel cars as clean and environmentally friendly. Volkswagen marketed its diesel engines as part of a movement toward sustainability, calling them TDI Clean Diesel. In an era when environmental concerns were becoming increasingly important, consumers were sold on the idea that these vehicles were not only efficient, but also responsible choices for the planet. But there was a problem. The truth about these clean diesel engines was far from what Volkswagen claimed. Behind closed doors, the company was installing sophisticated software in their diesel vehicles to cheat on emissions tests. This software, known as a deceive device, could detect when the car was being tested for emissions and would adjust the engine's performance to reduce emissions during the test. But in real-world driving conditions, the vehicles would emit nitrogen oxides, NOx, up to 40 times the legal limit, contributing to air pollution and health problems. Volkswagen's decision to install these deceive devices was a calculated move to avoid the stringent environmental regulations in the United States and Europe. The company knew that it could make a fortune by selling these clean diesel cars while secretly violating emission standards. It was a move driven by greed, with little regard for the consequences. The revelation: how the scandal was uncovered. The Volkswagen emissions scandal didn't come to light overnight. It took the tireless work of a small group of scientists to uncover the truth. In 2014, researchers from the International Council on Clean Transportation, ICCT, and the University of West Virginia began testing diesel cars to see if they met the required emission standards. What they found was staggering. The Volkswagen vehicles tested were emitting far more nitrogen oxide than what was allowed by law. Their findings were shocking, not just for the blatant disregard for emission standards, but for the fact that Volkswagen had been so brazen in its deceit. The researchers presented their findings to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, which then launched an investigation. In September 2015, the EPA issued a formal notice of violation to Volkswagen, accusing the company of installing deceive devices in over 500,000 diesel vehicles sold in the U.S. The news sent shockwaves throughout the automotive industry and beyond. Volkswagen had been caught red-handed, and the consequences were about to be devastating. The fallout: legal, financial, and environmental consequences. Once the scandal broke, the fallout for Volkswagen was swift and severe. The company faced a barrage of lawsuits, regulatory fines, and public backlash. Volkswagen's stock price plummeted, losing billions in value almost overnight. The company was forced to recall millions of vehicles worldwide to fix the emissions problems, an expensive and time-consuming process that further damaged its reputation. In the United States, Volkswagen faced a series of legal challenges. The company was sued by both the U.S. government and private individuals, resulting in multi-billion-dollar settlements. In 2016, Volkswagen agreed to pay a record $14.7 billion settlement to resolve claims related to the emissions scandal. This included compensation for affected customers, environmental restoration, and funding for green technology initiatives. But the financial consequences didn't end there. Volkswagen faced additional fines in other countries, including Germany, where the company was fined €1 billion, $1.2 billion, in 2018 for its role in the scandal. The environmental damage caused by Volkswagen's actions was also significant. The company's deceive devices allowed millions of cars to spew harmful pollutants into the air, contributing to respiratory problems, cardiovascular diseases, and even premature death. The scandal also undermined public trust in the automotive industry's commitment to environmental sustainability. For years, Volkswagen had marketed itself as a champion of clean energy, only to be exposed as one of the biggest polluters in the industry. The darker side of Volkswagen: corporate culture and ethical failures. The Volkswagen scandal was not just about a few bad decisions made by a handful of executives. It was a systemic issue that went to the very heart of the company's culture. The company's corporate culture had become so focused on achieving sales targets and maintaining a competitive edge that it was willing to disregard ethical considerations and environmental regulations. The deceive device was not a rogue invention, but part of a larger, systematic effort to cheat emissions tests and meet regulatory requirements without actually reducing pollution. Internal reports and testimonies revealed a culture of fear and obedience within Volkswagen. Engineers who questioned the legality of the deceive devices were reportedly ignored or reprimanded. The company's leadership was also complicit in the scandal, with high-ranking executives being accused of turning a blind eye to the deceit. In some cases, it was even suggested that the company had a policy of prioritizing sales and profits over ethical business practices. The scandal also exposed the dangerous consequences of a win-at-all-costs mentality. Volkswagen's top executives were driven by the desire to outdo their competitors, and this led them to take drastic and unethical measures. The company's actions were not just a violation of environmental regulations, but a betrayal of the trust placed in them by consumers, investors, and regulators. The impact on Volkswagen's reputation and recovery efforts. The long-term impact on Volkswagen's reputation has been severe. For a company that had spent decades building a reputation for quality and reliability, the scandal was a devastating blow. Volkswagen's once loyal customer base was shocked and outraged by the deception. Many customers felt betrayed, and some even filed lawsuits to recover the money they had spent on vehicles that had been marketed as environmentally friendly. To recover from the scandal, Volkswagen launched an aggressive public relations campaign aimed at rebuilding its reputation. The company shifted its focus to electric vehicles, EVs, with plans to become a leader in sustainable mobility. Volkswagen pledged to invest billions in electric vehicle technology and launched a new line of electric cars, including the ID.4. But despite these efforts, the damage to its brand image has been hard to undo. The Dieselgate scandal has left a permanent stain on Volkswagen's reputation, and it will take years, if not decades, for the company to fully recover. The global impact of Volkswagen's crimes. The Volkswagen emissions scandal had far-reaching consequences, not just for the company, but for the entire automotive industry and the global effort to combat climate change. The scandal exposed the flaws in environmental regulations and the lack of oversight in the testing process for emissions. It also underscored the dangers of corporate greed and the lengths to which companies will go to protect their profits. For consumers, the scandal was a wake-up call. Many had bought diesel cars believing they were making an environmentally responsible choice, only to discover that they had been duped. It sparked a wave of public skepticism about the true environmental impact of diesel engines and led to a shift in public opinion away from diesel-powered vehicles. The scandal also prompted regulatory bodies around the world to tighten emission standards and improve testing procedures. Governments have since ramped up efforts to hold automakers accountable for their environmental impact. Volkswagen's actions serve as a stark reminder that the automotive industry must be more transparent and accountable in its environmental practices. The Volkswagen emissions scandal is a story of corporate deception, environmental destruction, and the erosion of public trust. It's a reminder that even the most powerful companies can be driven by greed, and that the pursuit of profits can sometimes come at a devastating cost. The scandal has had lasting effects on the automotive industry, the environment, and the millions of people who were affected by it. While Volkswagen has taken steps to recover from its mistakes, the stain of the Dieselgate scandal remains. The company's actions were not just a violation of the law, but a breach of the ethical standards that consumers expect from the brands they trust. The Volkswagen scandal is a dark chapter in corporate history, one that serves as a warning to other companies about the dangers of cutting corners and putting profits above people and the planet. In the end, Volkswagen's crimes are a cautionary tale about the importance of corporate responsibility, transparency, and the need for a commitment to sustainability. If anything, the scandal has shown us that even the most seemingly upstanding companies can fall from grace, and that the pursuit of profits without ethics can lead to devastating consequences. The Dieselgate scandal is a stark reminder that short-term gains achieved through deceitful practices can lead to long-term harm to both the environment and public trust, emphasizing the need for greater accountability and integrity in business practices moving forward.